Hey everybody, welcome back to the Print 3D channel. Today is June 24th, and that means day 175 of the 3DP 365 project. And on today's episode, we printed out this very cool little mini monster truck, so stick around. Hey everybody, welcome back, and thank you for joining me here for day 175 of the 3DP 365 project. As always, down in the description there's a fact section. There's also the MatterHackers affiliate link. If you're in the market for some new filament, just use that MatterHackers affiliate link and you really help out the channel. On today's episode, we printed out this very cool little mini monster truck, and this print has its own built-in suspension, and that is very cool. This is a very well designed model, and we downloaded this from Thingiverse. And it comes in quite a few different parts. You have to download a little set of parts. You have 4 wheels and 1 build plate, plus you have the left and right wheels separately if you want to just print out a certain wheel, or if one breaks or one doesn't print properly, or if you don't have enough build space to print out the little build plate. You also have the truck body, and then you also have the little hubcaps that you need to lock on the wheels. And I just use super glue to lock everything together. And those come in their own little build plate too. There's 4 up of those. And there's also a cool little small community growing around this little model too. There's other people designing their own little truck bodies and wheels. And in the description for this video will be a link to the model. And down in the description for that model, you'll see all the different people who have done remixes and created their own little truck bodies. And it's really cool because I know it's because the suspension is really awesome. I mean, that's a really cool set of springs that were designed really well into this model. And they're very, very springy, and there's no problems with this. As long as your tolerances are dialed in with your printer, you should get a perfect print just like this. And my G-Max is obviously dialed in pretty good. And of course we use MatterHackers Pro PLA, and we use 3 different colors on this print. We use midnight blue for the body, and we use gray for the tires, and we use black for the little hubcaps. And we downloaded this from Thingiverse, like I said, and then we sent everything over to Simplify 3D, and we printed these out in 3 different batches. The first thing we printed out was the truck body, and we printed that at a 0.2 millimeter layer height at 40 millimeters per second with 4 top layers, 3 bottom layers, and a 10% infill. And it printed out for 4 hours, approximately 4 hours, and the print turned out really good. It's got some really steep overhangs inside of here, and you'll see those in the close-ups in the end. I don't know if you can see it in there now, but if you download the model, you'll definitely see that. And there's not a lot of room for support material. There's also a model provided that has its own built-in support material, and I actually printed that one first. And I just wanted to see how good the support material was. And the support material that was holding up the 2 bumper pieces, that would have been fine. But the support material that needs to build the little bridge underneath for the suspension part, or the little frame part of the model, they were tiny little 1x1 millimeter towers that we're going to build over probably a 2-hour time period. So I went ahead and canceled the print. But that gave me an opportunity to really look at this spring design. And it's a very, very cool design. I mean, this is very well made. And as you can see, those are single lines of filament. There's 2 rows of them in each one of the springs that are designed into the model. So that was pretty cool, and I knew it was going to print really well because my G-Max did a really good job on just these few layers. But I decided to go back into Simplify 3D and add my own support material to the non-support material provided truck model. So I added some in the front here on the bumper, just like they did, and on the rear bumper. And I also put 4 little towers in place of where they had their towers that were in the support material provided. And those actually printed out all the way through. Here's one of them right here. The other one's already in the trash, but here's one of them right here. They are tiny, and they are big enough to hold the little area part of the frame that needs to be supported, because it is a bit of an air print when you get to that area. Plus, there's a really steep overhang here in the front and the back going up. And it was a pretty rough print. I mean, you can see mine's a little bit rough, but it's a monster truck, so it gives it a little bit of character, so it's not a big deal. Plus, it doesn't interfere with the springs at all, so it doesn't affect the model's printing at all. So after we had the truck model printed, we printed out the tires. And we printed those at a 0.2 millimeter layer height. And of course, we used some of that MatterHackers Gray Pro PLA series filament. And those prints turned out perfect. There was no problems with those whatsoever. And then finally, we printed out the little 4-up hubcaps, and we used some MatterHackers Pro Series black filament. And those printed out perfectly because we only ran those out at 30 millimeters per second just to make sure we captured all that detail. plus I went down to a 0.16 millimeter layer height for those prints. And all in all those prints turned out really good, and it's a very, very cool model. And of course, all I had to do was add a little bit of super glue, and I glued the little hubcaps onto the little axles on the bottom of the model. And I can suggest to you, when you do super glue them down, there's plenty of room in there for it to spin with the hubcap on. But while it's gluing, while you're having your glue set, just spin the wheel for the time you are letting the glue set. Because if you use some fast-acting super glue, it should only take 20 or 30 seconds, and it won't take too long. And that'll just make sure that all the wheels spin, and if any glue seeps down, you just kind of work it into the turning. So that worked out pretty good, and all the wheels spin really well. And it's super, super springy. I mean, this has some very good spring action to it, and all the wheels turn really well. And definitely download and print this yourself, because it's only about 10 hours total to print everything entitled to this little model. So it's a very good print. I think it's very cool, and I'm definitely going to print more of these because there's definitely a cool little community growing behind it. And definitely I'm going to print them out in different colors and take advantage of using the filament change and using different colors on the rims too, because I think that looks pretty cool. So all in all, I'd say this is a very cool print. It's very well engineered. It really shows off 3D printing and how you can design in built-in springs to make a very, very cool little model. Well, that about wraps it up for day 175 of the 3DP 365 project. I hope you guys found this episode interesting and informative. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share those videos, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.